How's it going, everybody? So, I actually went and looked through the Atari games for this Sears Video Arcade 2 that I found. Excuse me, and I've gotten a few that I was able to get working. Either seems to be perfectly working, or mostly working to some extent. Might need to see if they can be cleaned out, or possibly try to get a more, a CRT TV or something that isn't a modern-ish flat screen with just a coaxial input. There's a good chance that maybe getting a CRT would work. But off, let me show you what I mean by controls that don't really work. Or rather, games that work kind of. So as you can see, it's a Sears Video Arcade 2, which was the Sears copy of the Atari 2800. To my knowledge, Atari went, "Hey Sears, can you make a copy for us so that we can sell it in America?" And Sears went, "Yeah, sure." Or sell it in more places, rather. So we've got Miss Pac-Man, which, as far as I'm aware, was originally just a hacked version of Pac-Man that they agreed to sell as a game. Then we've got Asteroids. We've got Video Pinball. Got Super Breakout. And we've got Night Driver. Now, Asteroids works better with the joystick controller that I have, but otherwise they seem to work okay or good with the paddle or turn dial, sorry. But give me a second and I can show y'all. So I'm actually going to start out with Asteroids because, like I said, it works best with the controller. Now let me swap to the joystick arcade style controller. Now I think there is still at least one Atari controller that is missing. It's probably somewhere in storage. But if I remember correctly, it was one of those red joysticks with just a white button on top. It was all plastic and you could hear it, which got admittedly very aggravating. But let's see here. So, to show y'all that it mostly works, you've got, well, actually, shoot, I might have to try it on the, I might have to actually try it on one of the other joysticks or the paddle controller. Because even the movement ain't seeming to work right. Of course, like I said, this TV doesn't really support all of that being shoved through the coax cable. Hang on, it wasn't in all the way. The controller wasn't. Let me try it now. Zoom it in a bit. Let's see here. Hey, there we go. It it mostly works. Still got a little bit like it disappears when you hit back. When you hit the thing to go to reverse. But, you know, it's got somewhat consistent firing. Mostly just random. And it turns when you hit the fire button. So I'm not sure if that's asteroids or if that's the controller. But there's proof that it mostly works. Reset it. Oh. See? Now, the next game is going to be the Miss Pac-Man copy. If I can get this controller out without yanking. There. I think it's Atari. Now, one thing I did notice, which might be a problem, is some of the prongs, if you can see them, are kind of bent. Now, that might be an issue. I can see where it would be, but I'm not even sure what would get them out. Maybe a really, really small flathead screwdriver. Next game is Miss Pac-Man. Now, Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man are games that, like, I remember trying to play, but I never did get very far in them. Let me try to zoom out for y'all a little. Like I've said a couple times before, it's difficult to figure the right angle because it's slightly tilted. Now, let me show y'all something. This one, I can go right. I mean, left initially. I can go right, up. I can go down. But I cannot physically go left. Oh. You can't do it. It will not let me go left. Now, I've tried it on a couple different controllers, both paddles, and I've tried it on one or two other joystick controllers, I think. I'm just not sure at this point. And it has issues with going fuzzy. Hold on, before it messes up entirely. So there's those two that kind of work. Now these three I've gotten to work mostly 100%. So this one is going to be video pinball. It's just pinball, but Atari. So let me show y'all. Pull the paddle down, hit the right button. Well, shoot. I still don't really know how it does that. Little red light and then cannot move anything. But I think it might be if it hits the icon twice. See? Well, that sucked. And as you move the paddle up, sorry, I'm trying to focus on the pinball, it moves the little paddles. And it's a bit iffy, Sometimes you gotta get it just right, but it works. Now, obviously, I'm not the best at it because, for one, I haven't played it in years. So don't come at me. And for two, I haven't played pinball itself in years. Actually, I think Atari might be the only one I've ever played pinball on a console. This one is kind of fun because I think the original story is that Breakout is based off of like a prison break. I don't know about Super Breakout though. At least the idea of Breakout is you trying to break out of a prison. So you got 2 green lines, 2 purple, 2 blue, and 2 red, and I believe each color signifies different points for breaking it, and each color, each level you get up to speeds it up more. So the turn dial, as you can see, turns the pad. Oh, let me hit reset, and boom. So you've got, let's see here, there's green. Now this would be a very slow playthrough and might be kind of quiet to hear the dings. But so green is 1 point. Well, shoot. Oh. Come on. What's purple? That's another green. Purple is looking like 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 points. And I don't know about blue or red because I haven't watched the points long enough to pay attention to those colors when I get to it. This kind of reminds me of like Brick Breaker on old Androids and similar phones. The speed really gets to you if you aren't paying attention. But yeah, there's proof that it works. Now, to those of you who might be going, oh my god, why'd you stop playing Super Breakout? I wanted to see you break the red and get all the blocks. That's going to take ages, okay? Let me back up from the camera, because that was too close. That would probably take forever, okay? I don't think y'all want to sit there and watch me struggle and hear ding, diddling, diddle, as I break each block. At least not right now. I'm just trying to show off some of these games. Now this last one, this is absolute chaos. But you got Night Driver. This game, it seems to work perfectly fine from the bit that I've tested it. Aside from like mashing on the gas button a bit harder than you would expect to get it to register. But otherwise, it's crazy and it gets difficult, but it's doable. Let me show y'all. Oh boy, this is going to be eventful. So, let me hit reset. Now, thankfully, it doesn't automatically start going. You have to hit the gas. Let's see here. Move it to the right so that y'all can see it. Oh! You gotta find the right spot. And whoo! Sorry for your ears, but you gotta try to not crash. I'm sorry about the flashing. Come on. Quit it. Quit it. Dang it. Whoo! Dang it. Ow. But, as you can see, it works. I'm sorry about the flashing lights on that last one. I did not realize how bright it would be. I'm gonna put a warning. I'm gonna put a warning on that one. Well, to whoever I send it to, and in the description of the video. But that shows you that I have gotten some of these Atari games. I have found some of them that work, or mostly work. Now, the amount of time and effort it would take to get even past the first stage of Night Driver would be ungodly. That would be one of those sheer iron will memes incarnate. But, God, why do I feel like some of y'all would try to put me through that torture just to laugh at me? Anyway, that was showing off some of the Atari games. Y'all have fun watching it. See y'all next time.